I am so done with DoorDash. Now, I don't mean that literally in the sense that I'm like quitting DoorDash or anything like that, but this week has been rough and you guys don't know why yet, but you will in a couple of videos. So I just wanted to make a video that's kind of more personal, which I like to do sometimes, and also just less edited, less kind of high speed, just kind of a me talking to you guys about some struggles and what's going on. So there's a bunch of different things I want to go into in this video of why I'm just kind of over dashing. You know, I've been doing it for 4 years now. I started right when I turned 18. I'm now 22. I've seen many ups and downs throughout this entire 4-year DoorDashing that I've done. And the biggest thing I've realized is that DoorDash just isn't a long-term career or a long-term job even. It's something that you can do part-time for a little while just to get some extra money, but the longer you do it, the more frustrating it becomes and the less overall money you seem to make, in the sense that it's hard because you're constantly having to pay for expenses. I mean, with gas prices as high as they are now, I remember when I started even, gas was literally $2 in my area. It is now $5 or like $4.80 or something like that. So that has doubled that expense, over doubled that expense. And there's just other things like car maintenance, getting oil changes every month, changing your tires every so often, and just things like this that get annoying where you think you're making money. And even if you set aside money for those things, it's just kind of like, man, another expense that has to do with this job. And that comes with any business. That comes with running your own business in anything. So I get that, but I'm just explaining how it can get frustrating. And so that's something to remember, is that it's really not the best option for a long-term job, in my opinion. And you can get caught thinking like, oh, I can just keep dashing, right? You're like 5 years down the line, I'll just still be making 60 grand a year as a DoorDash driver. Well, that might not be the case. See, because the next thing that I'm kind of just slightly over with is just the varying income. It kind of gets annoying how some weeks you can work 40 hours and make $1,200, maybe even more. Then other weeks you work a 40-hour work week and you only make $750. And you're like, okay, well, I put in the same amount of hours and at no fault of my own, I just made almost half as much money as I do some other weeks. And just the varying income that comes throughout the year. Some months are busy, some months are slow. You never know how many dashers are going to be on the road, how busy it's going to be, how high people are going to tip you. And there's just so many variables that your income's constantly just like up and down, up and down, up and down. And it just kind of gets annoying. I mean, I've done it for 4 years, and I mean, it's nice. It's a very easy, nice job and an easy way to make some extra income. But when you're relying on DoorDash for a lot of your income, which thankfully I don't have to as much as I used to, because I do make quite a bit from YouTube thanks to you guys. Again, I appreciate that so much. But when you're relying solely on DoorDash for a lot of your income, it's like, okay, 1 week is up here, the next is down here, and then 1 week up here, and it's just like, it just gets annoying, is the bottom line of what I'm trying to say. The next thing that I'm kind of getting annoyed with as I'm getting older is that there's no benefits, like when it comes to insurance or anything like that, even a 401k match or anything of that sort. And granted, I'm kind of okay with that because I feel like I'm always going to be independent. I don't ever want to be an employee of anyone again. And so that kind of just comes with the territory, but it does just get annoying, you know? Like, I'm not saying that I'd rather have a job that gives me those things because I would never want a strict schedule, but I'm just voicing you guys my opinion. Or even if some of you guys aren't even DoorDash drivers right now and you're thinking about quitting your job, maybe think twice, because there's definitely pros and cons that come with being a DoorDash driver, being an independent contractor for that matter. And another one of those things that I'm kind of just like over with is it's such a lonely job. Like, you just sit in your car by yourself for every hour you're working, you know? And while there are some benefits to that, you don't have to deal with other stupid employees, or you don't have to rely on anyone else, or anything like that, it doesn't come with the best things either. Because part of having a job is the enjoyability of your coworkers and having that sense of community and purpose. And with DoorDash, you don't really get that ever. It's just really lonely. You're doing mind-numbing work for ungrateful customers and ungrateful restaurants. Restaurants don't really particularly like you. Customers are annoying a lot of the time. And so that's just another thing that's like, after 4 years of doing this, it just kind of gets repetitive, gets old, gets annoying. And that's kind of where I'm at. Another thing is that you are driving around so much. Like, so much. I think since I've started DoorDashing, I think I've driven over 100,000 miles now. Just in 4 years. And so, it's like, man, that is just, like, you got to save for a new car if you're going to be doing it long term. Like, probably within the next 2 to 3 years, I think, if I keep up at the rate I'm at, I'm probably going to have to purchase a new car, because things to replace on my car, which is a Mercedes, is going to get expensive. So I don't want to run this into 200,000 miles. I'm just going to have this as like my wife's car, or like our kind of day-to-day car that I don't use for work. And I'm going to have to buy a new one. And so that's just what comes with the territory. But it's just all these things added up, right? And the fact that some of the struggles I've had with driving this much. I have back problems now. I have sciatica now from driving this amount. And also just like the unhealthy eating habits, which I could change easily. But it's so easy to just grab something while you're out driving, right? Like, there's just a lot of things that come with driving a lot. And even I've gotten like some arthritis, or I don't really know what it's called, in my elbows. And just like some joint pain from constantly having, look, I'll show you guys. I like constantly put my elbow right here. And even though I have a phone holder right up here on my windshield, a lot of the time I find myself holding my phone like this, resting on the thing I just showed you. And so like I'm just getting pain in like my elbow area on my right hand. And I have extreme amount of knots in my neck on this side because I'm constantly looking over at my phone right here, which causes a bunch of neck tension. And just all these things that come with it. And I'm not saying other jobs don't come with it, because if you're at a desk job, you a lot of the time have certain problems like that, or even a standing job, you get the same sort of problems from standing all day. But it's just like, after 4 years, sometimes it just gets old. And what I've been doing this week, it's a challenge that I'm doing for a video, which you guys will see in probably a week, about why it's just everything's amplified right now, and I'm just frustrated. So there's my rant. I just felt like I should share some of the info as a long-term dasher for those new dashers, or even the people who have only been doing it for like a year or two. Just some of the struggles that come along with having this as a long-term job. So there you guys have it. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you subscribe. And if you want to see a different side of me, make sure you check out my other channel. It's called Talkin More Sports. I do it with my brother. We try to cover all things basketball. So if you're into that, make sure you go check it out. The link is down below in the description. And I'll see you guys next time.